Good afternoon, fellow traders. It's Black Coffee Trader coming at you here on a Wednesday, December the 17th. Wow, what a day. Man, it feels like a huge win with $100. I was red this morning. I was red to the tune of about 270 to 300, so not 300, but 270-ish maybe per account. And we got it back to green. So I'm really happy with $5 to $7 per account because we had a tough morning. I've had a tough about, 24 to 36 hours of trading until we finally got some wins here in the afternoon. The first, I think, 3 or 4 trades I took today were all losers. One was a break-even loss, so really, not really a loss, but it does show a loss because of commissions. But then I finally found some winning trades. And the secret really, if there's not really a secret, but I just kept trading my setup. And like on Tuesday, yesterday, when I had the red day, I just, after a couple of trades, I was like, I am just wrong. I'm just completely wrong. And today it felt different. Like I was taking good setups and it just wasn't working. It wasn't like I was wrong. I was just getting stopped out. And the trade would continue at times. So I just, I wasn't really trying to make it back. I was totally not at all trying to make it back today. I just found some setups, and when I saw them, I took them, and they worked out. So we're back to green on the day, and we didn't lose more today after we were down quite a bit. So yeah, that's a huge win. On the week, let's go to TradeZella, and this has been an issue. So if this doesn't load, we're just gonna bypass it. Here's the spreadsheet. Kind of show you where we've been at. So yesterday, obviously, we had the red day. Monday was green. TradeZella is obviously showing different because I took an overnight trade that counts here. But today back to green, so we're really right around that 240 per account is where we're down. So that's not bad. We can definitely recover from that, and that feels like a big win. So obviously, this is not going to load, so we're just going to let that sit. And I will just simply show you the trades. So let's go to, I think I took like 7 or 8 trades. First one, I think might have been a gold trade. Yeah, I think, no, that was not the first one. Dow Jones, I think, might have been the first one here. Took a break and retest. This was an A+ setup. Broke this key level right here, retested it cleanly, took the entry. We came down here, wick stopped me out, and then the market moved higher. It did end up failing, and that was the start of the rollover. So, I was wrong, but technically I could have gotten out of there with at least a break-even trade or at least a 1R and a little bit more, had that worked out. But this one here, again, if you go back to what I was looking at here, this is when I took the entry. So I took the entry right there. And the market just, it just stuttered, took me out right there, and you can see there was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wicks there holding. So my stop was just a whisker too tight, but you could make the argument that, hey, it should have been down here. Maybe the stop should have been below these lows. And if that's the case, I probably should have sized down even more. So I don't know. It was an unfortunate good setup that just didn't play because the market moved too much. And really the issue was the downside we had on, I think NVIDIA had some issues this morning, and NQ was just literally falling apart, and we just couldn't hold this level on the Dow Jones. So that was the first loss. I think the next one might have been on gold. Yeah, I had a break-even trade here. Again, I was looking at this pre-market. We had 2 previous daily highs. We had the Tuesday high and the Monday high right here. And I really thought that if the market holds above that, we had a chance for upside. And I took this trade here, a nice break and retest. We were holding that area. Obviously, zoomed in here a little bit. It's a little bit harder to see. But if you get into about right there, you can see we had a couple of wicks holding really nicely in an uptrend. Everything was there that I'm looking for, and it just simply didn't work out. Did get obviously one contract taken off, but then got stopped out. Again, wick stopped out on the last contract, and basically the break-even loss. So no harm, no foul there, even though it was a losing trade. Later in the day, I did find this was one of the winning trades today. Took the entry here on another break and retest, another clear break and retest of that, the 2 prior day highs. And I did have to sit through this. this. And I had my stop down a little bit lower than this I actually was about right there. I didn't even see that till right now. My stop was pretty much at the same spot. And I almost got stopped out, but then it did go. And it was just looking at the price action, I was like, man, if this is going to go, and it did. And I finally got out of there with a nice little winning trade. I think I was up about $100 on that one. Yeah, 40 and 60, so I was out for $100 there. So nice win. ES, I did have this was an unfortunate one. Took a break and retest of PDL, prior day low. I love, if you follow this channel, you know I love that. I love the break and retest short below the prior day lows. So I was a little bit hesitant on this one, and that's always a bad thing. We had several wicks. Let me see if I can get this into where I was looking at. Right there is what I was looking at to take this trade, and you can barely see it here unless I zoom in, but there's 2 wicks holding here. And that's really what prompted me. And then we had a flush, kind of a push down, and I kind of panicked, entered into that one like, oh, I'm going to miss it. Because of the big push down and the big sell-off, I was like, oh, I'm going to miss it, and I have to get in now. Well, I got in, and this thing bounced. And it bounced right off this low, which I knew it was there, and I panicked that one. Unfortunately, got stopped out. Pretty nasty there. Just literally wick stopped me out, and it fell right back down, came back up, retested it. And I decided, you know what, I'm taking it again. The setup was there, and I felt like I just had a bad entry on that first one. That one ended up being a $140 loss. I took almost a full loss there, but I entered this one and that one, entry here, stop over the high, and took one target off, or one contract off there, and the other one here at the low. So that ended up being a, $20-some and 50, so about a $70-some winner there. So that was nice. What else? There was we looked at the Dow loss. We looked at the ES loss. Maybe those were the 2 main losers. And then we had, obviously, that break even. So the winners were this one here on gold. The Dow, we had that winner, not the Dow. ES had a winning trade there on ES. And I thought there was one other one. I don't think I traded in Q. Maybe it was just those 2. Am I missing something? Oh, the Russell. That's where it was at. This was the last winning trade. And this ended up being a really nice trade as well. 30, 60, about a 90, almost $100 on that trade as well. Here again, we had the prior day low. And in the afternoon, we fell through that. We broke through that and this level. See, notice how cleanly we held this area. And then here we tested it. And if you zoom in, let me zoom in here a little bit. If you zoom in right here, that's not zooming in. You can see these wicks holding. 1, 2, and that's where I took the entry. On this failure, that was really and that's where I put my stop initially. Took this entry, and we just simply started to bleed lower, and I was able to hold the stop there, and I really had only about a 1.9 drawdown, not very much at all, and took those 2 off. And at that point, I was green on the day. And as I decided I'm just going to hold for a little bit, and we came down and tested this again. And at that point, when we were slowly starting to maybe fail this, I just moved this last contract stop to right here, and I did get stopped out right there. But I was okay with it at that point. I'm like, you know what? I'm green on the day. I'm not going to be greedy and look for more. I'm getting out of today, and I made back nearly $300. So I was pretty happy at that point just to get out of there with a win. But anyway. So that's the day, and we are a survivor, so that's a huge win. Let's see if TradeZella is back, and it is still, this thing has just been problematic, but yeah, anyway, I'll have to leave you with that. But last but not least, as far as prop firms and holiday specials, Take Profit Trader has their 40% discount again, so they are back with 40% off. I love that, and no activation fees, so that's the deal on TPT. And then Apex is back with an 80% off discount, and I believe they've got $65 activation fees. So there's the TPT, 40% off, no activation fees. Apex is 80% off and $25 resets. So yeah, and then the $65 activation fees. So anyway, great deals with those prop firms. And again, I just want to say thank you for using my code. I appreciate that, whether you do or not. Thanks for being here. But those of you that use my code, I certainly do appreciate it. It helps me out a little bit and helps support the channel. So yeah, thanks again. I feel a little bit exhausted after today, rightfully so, after holding through that. So I'm really going to try to be diligent tomorrow and Friday, and really be careful about the setups I take, and really try to take good setups, and hopefully we can put a couple green days together and make back a little bit of this red that we had on Tuesday and get back to a green week. So we need about 120 bucks a day, and we'll be at 0 for the week. I'd be happy with that. If we end up with a red week, it'll be the first red week that I've had in nearly 7 weeks of trading. So I can't complain too much. And with the market conditions as they are, some of the divergences we've seen on ES and NQ, the morning sessions have been difficult. And so surviving that and getting out today is a huge win. And we just need to build on that going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. So again, thanks for following along. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night. We'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care, and so long.